Hi, horse friends. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is my fellow Arabian mare here, Missy. And today we're going to talk about putting on an English saddle. And the first thing I want to talk about is how I prepare to saddle. So if you notice, I have gotten everything out here that I need. I have my dressage girth. That's a nice fleece girth here. I have my dressage saddle. I have a half pad that is actually custom made for her, as well as my white cotton saddle pad. Now, different horses have different needs as opposed to their tack, their girth, their saddle pads. This just happens to be a combination that we have found that works really well for Missy. And so while I'm saddling the horse, I am not only focusing on the equipment and does the equipment fit right, I'm also focusing on the feedback from the horse as well, so that I can find any pain points or anything that might be telling me about her physical health as well. So the first thing I'm going to start with is my cotton saddle pad here. And if you notice, I am starting on the left-hand side of the horse. My horses can be saddled from both sides. I work on this all the time with them because I feel like it's very good for a horse to be able to be adaptable and get used to us working on them from both sides. I also never know if I'm going to have an injury or something along those lines that could somehow restrict me from doing things on the left. So I'm going to start with this cotton saddle pad. I'm going to pay attention to her eyes. I'm going to get this lined up so that there's not a pressure point or an end of the saddle pad here over the withers. It goes nice and up. We also have chosen a saddle pad that has a nice wither relief here so that it isn't pressing down into her withers. If you look at where the billet straps are going to go through here, this is in alignment with where the girth is going to be as well. So there is a front and back to the saddle pad. Like I said here, you can see the shape. So this shaped part is designed to go over the withers as well. The same thing for our half pad here. So this is the part that goes up. It's going to go over the withers, and this is the flat part that goes in the back. So this piece is going to go here, and this just helps our saddle fit her better as well. As you can see, she's very nice and relaxed. I don't think she minds any of this at all. So far, I think that her back is in good shape. I'm going to take the girth off here, and then I'm going to grab our dressage saddle here. We're very fortunate to have a nice Schlese dressage saddle to work with. I'm going to gently place it down on my horse's back. I'm not going to slam it, right? Their backs are very sensitive. Once again, no reaction. That was to a fly. So I'm going to make sure that the back of the saddle pads on the cantle are not so far under the cantle that when I'm sitting on the horse that they get a pressure point. Think about like a wrinkled sock in your shoe. That's very, very painful. So the saddle pads are placed far enough back. Now, before I go to put the billet straps through and adjust this saddle here, I'm going to take a look here. And to me, the saddle pads are already too low. Generally, as I tighten the saddle and as I start working the horse, the saddle pads have a tendency to fall down, and those in turn can also create a pressure point up here that I don't want to have. So I'm going to pull here, be very gentle not to get her mane, pull up through here and create what we call a nice tent. So that is where the length of your saddle pad here is important, right? Because if this was any shorter, when I pull these through, it would actually pull that tent back down, and I don't want to have that problem. So I'm going to go ahead and go around the other side and do the billets. Same thing on the other side. I'm also going to make sure that there's the same amount of space between the saddle pad and the saddle here. So we're going to go around this side and check this side, make sure everything is in good alignment, and looks like it is not. You see that? So what I've got to do here is pull this billet strap down, pull this forward, put this through here. Now, this is a good time to talk about something that I see all of the time. Don't leave your horse without the girth or the cinch properly attached, right? All it would take is for her to shake or spook, and we're in a very dangerous situation here. The saddle will fall underneath and we've got problems, right? So I'm going to come around. I'm going to grab the cinch, and I should have probably brought it over with me on that first pass if I had to do things perfectly, but we're going to be okay since I'm right here. So since this cinch has a front and a back, this ring tells us that this is going to be going in the front. So this is for like attachments for a breast collar or Vienna reins or whatever device some person might be choosing to use. So I'm going to get the billets through the girth here. I generally try to line it up so it's a little bit loose. We know that this is the approximate side that we're going to have it up on the other side. I'm once again checking her eyes. She seems to have no reaction, right? So we'll see how that goes as we start cinching. If she starts flinching or moving or dancing around, I might worry about saddle fit, back problems, ulcers, all of those types of things. But that's a whole onion and a whole process. You got to figure that out if you start having those things. Because remember, guys, horses whisper to us with problems before they start screaming. So we want to listen to the whisper. So I'm going to come around here. I'm going to reach under, once again, not get my head under there because I don't want to get kicked. Grab the cinch, bring it up, watch her eyes, right? See if her eyes are changing or if she's telling me anything different. I'm going to make sure that this piece is lined up so that her skin doesn't get caught in the roller here and get this nice and snug. So she did blink a little bit and step back, but I didn't see any major reaction there. I'm going to try to get these even, but I'm going to give her a minute to take a deep breath, relax, go through her whole body, right? Kind of feel where she's at. You don't want to just tighten your belt really tight. You wouldn't do that to yourself. Don't do that to your horse. So eventually I will want this one up here so that they are even. And I'm going to get this through here. And then I'm going to do a once over and make sure that none of my cinching has changed my pads, has, influenced anything else. She is swishing her tail a little bit at me, but I kind of think that that's due to the flies that we have got going on here. So yeah, it's a fly. And now she's licking and chewing. So thank you guys so much for joining us today. This is how I tack up a dressage saddle or an English saddle. So please feel free to comment below.